When they go low, you go high.
She's got bad judgment, and honestly, so bad that she should never be president of the United States.
He never apologizes for anything to anyone.
Honest Abe never lied. That's the good thing. That's the big difference between Abraham Lincoln and you.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail. Because you'd be in jail. Because you'd be in jail. Because you'd be in jail.
What?
You'd be in jail. Answer our call at 3 o'clock in the morning. Guess what happened? Ambassador Stevens sent 600 requests for help. And the only one she talked to was Sidney Blumenthal, who's her friend, and not a good guy, by the way. So, you know, she shouldn't be talking about that.
They're calling it the Trump effect. Bullying is up.
Bernie Sanders, I was so surprised to see him sign on with the devil. She campaigned where the
Mr. Trump, I want to get to audience questions and online questions.
So she's allowed to do that, but I'm not allowed to.
You're going to get to respond right now.
That sounds fair.
Well, we turned over 35,000, so
Oh, yeah.
it
What
was.
about the other 15,000?
Please allow her to respond. She didn't talk while you talked.
Hillary Clinton wants to allow.
And why did it morph into that? No, answer the question.
Why
Do
do
you
you
still
interrupt
believe?
her?
I
You interrupt
do.
me all the time. Why don't you
Would you
interrupt her?
please?
Going to be able to. You're going to have plans.
What does that mean?
Well, I'll tell you what it means. Well, I just want
There's
to
been lots
say,
of fact checking on that. I'd like to move on to an online question.
she just went about 25 seconds over her time.
She
Could
did
I
not.
just respond to this, please? I'd like to know, Anderson, why aren't you bringing up the emails? I'd like to know. Why aren't you...
You brought up the emails.
No, it hasn't.
Ken Carpoy has a question.
It's nice to... One on three. Tell you what, I didn't think I'd say this, but I'm going to say it. And I hate to say it. But if I win, I am going to instruct my Attorney General to get a special prosecutor to look into your situation, because there has never been so many lies, so much deception. There has never been anything like it. You get a subpoena, and after getting the subpoena, you delete 33,000 emails. You delete 33,000 emails. You delete 33,000 emails. And then you acid wash them, or bleach them, as you would say, a very expensive process. People have been, their lives have been destroyed for doing 1/5 of what you've done. And it's a disgrace. And honestly, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Secretary Clinton, I want to follow up on that. I'm going to let us talk about it now.
Because everything he just said is absolutely false, but I'm not surprised. In the first debate,
The audience needs to
I
calm
told
down here.
people that it would be impossible to be fact-checking Donald all the time. I'd never get to talk about anything I want to do and how we're going to really make lives better for people. It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our...
Because you'd be in jail. Because you'd be in jail. Because you'd be in jail.
Right. As I recall, that was something I said about Abraham Lincoln after having seen the wonderful Steven Spielberg movie called Lincoln. It was a master class watching President Lincoln get the Congress to approve the 13th Amendment. It was principled and it was strategic.
Now she's blaming the lie on the late, great Abraham Lincoln. That's one that I have. Okay, Honest Abe never lied. That's the good thing. That's the big difference between Abraham Lincoln and you.
The question to both of you is, regardless of the current rhetoric, would either of you name one positive thing that you respect in one another?
Trump, would you like to go first?
I respect his children. His children are incredibly able and devoted, and I think that says a lot about Donald. I don't agree with nearly anything else he says or does, but I do respect that, and I think that is something that as a mother and a grandmother is very important to me. We are going to be choosing a president who will set policy for not just for 8 years, but because of some of the important decisions we have to make here at home and around the world, from the Supreme Court to energy and so much else.
Well, I consider her statement about my children to be a very nice compliment. I will say this about Hillary. She doesn't quit, she doesn't give up. I respect that. I tell it like it is. I do disagree with her judgment in many cases, but she does fight hard and she doesn't quit and she doesn't give up. And I consider that to be a very good trait.